Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing something new. These are from CraftFIRST and they are the Gemini, full-size Gemini cutting plates. I'm gonna test a few different types of dies and just see how durable they actually are. But first, let me show you my Gemini stuff and why I hate my Gemini. Look at how warped that magnetic mat is, and whoops, that's my very first cut I made and I put the die on wrong. There's my plastic shim, a little bit lasagna looking. And these are the Gemini brand. Yeah, that plate is no good. You can't use the middle of the plate. And this is the bottom plate, which is, I mean, it's okay because, you know. Anyway, let me put together this sandwich so you can see. Okay, yeah. Now that gets so warped, and if you flip it over, it's so warped that you have to really maneuver things to get it through your machine. So let me go ahead and get out the stuff that I got from CraftFIRST. So I got magnetic mats, plastic shim, and 2 clear cutting plates. Now the difference between these cutting plates and the Gemini ones is that these are actually made of polycarbonate plastic. They're more durable than the acrylic plastic. And so we're just going to put them to the test here. We get everything unwrapped. And they're labeled just the same. Now, I've noticed they're right around the same price on Amazon. So, you know, they're superior as far as I'm concerned. But this is my first time playing with them. But, you know, I've seen other reviews where people have talked about the superiority of these on the Gemini Juniors. So this is just a test here on my regular size Gemini. And my regular size Gemini is off camera because it's too huge to fit on this desk. But I will be cutting using that because that's what I have. Okay, so there's the sandwich, and look how nice and tight that is, brand new out of the package. Let's go ahead and test this bad boy out. And I'm going to test it, and I've got the magnetic shim on the non-grid side. It doesn't matter at all. And let me grab this kind of intricate large die here and see how it does with a large die. Now, I know you're supposed to be able to cut even fabric in the Gemini, but I have not tried it because I haven't really had an occasion to do so. Maybe one day. I do have some, you know, cutting plates that are for like hexagons and stuff for quilters. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure there's no paper stuck in this die before I start the process. And I'm going to lay that cut side up. I'm going to lay my paper on. I'm looking here at the sandwich, making sure I get the sandwich right, because again, I don't generally use my Gemini. Then I've got the plastic shim and the clear cutting plate on top. And let me go ahead and pick up this whole sandwich. There we go. Gonna try and keep track of how I'm sending it through here by having the label on the bottom right. And putting it through my Gemini here. And we'll pull it out here in a moment and see how well it cut. And look at this, I'm pretty impressed. There's the top cutting plate, nice and clean. Of course you're gonna see something on the plastic shim, but here it cut out beautifully. So I'll go ahead and get this die out to see if all the tiny pieces actually cut through. And they do. I'm just gonna go ahead and speed up this process because, yeah, boring. But as you can see, it cut perfectly on this big die. And that's really handy because when, you know, when I try to put this die through my Vagabond machine, it's really kind of too big. I don't have, you know, many positions that I can put it in that it's going to fit through. So, and it's in there tight. The Gemini puts a lot of pressure. Let me just poke at it here so I can get the rest of him out. Come on. I'm trying not to rip it. Now this is 110-pound cardstock. Excuse me, 120-pound cardstock. So it cut through that nice thick cardstock. And the reason I like to cut with the thicker cardstock is because I like to color them afterwards rather than doing it through colored paper, unless I'm doing it through, of course, metallic paper. So look how nicely that cut. Really beautiful. I'm happy with that cut. Just got a couple little places here where I've still got a little bit of paper stuck, but it's not stuck, you know, to the point where you have to tear it at the back. You know those kind? And you kind of expect that with a die like this, but we'll do an even more intricate one in a moment. But first, let's do a bunch of sentiments. So here's the other handy thing about a large machine, and this is a 9 by 12.5, by the way, is that you can do a lot at once. So let's just say I need to cut a lot of sentiments. Let me just wipe up my paper here. And I've got this group of sentiments here, and I have a surprise planned. So I need to cut multiple sentiments and get them ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and just lay all these sentiments down here. Well, the ones that I want, that I plan on using anyway. No point cutting them all out. So I'm putting both the sentiment and the shadow. Sometimes it's hard to read the words upside down. Now let's do lucky. Okay, and then I have another one over here. I've got my hello, and I've got a couple hearts that I'm going to cut out. And we're putting cut side up. Let's do that little filigree innard part of that heart. And I'm just going to go ahead and do my hello and its shadow. So that's quite a few dies I got on there in one sitting. All right, now let's put together the sandwich. So we're going to need the plastic shim. Oh, we need paper first, yes. Paper would be helpful. Oh my goodness. All right, let's grab the plastic shim, and I'm going to put it on upside down. And I'm going to put this one on upside down so that those words are together, but they're, you know, upside down so that I know that I've rotated my plates. Run it through the Gemini, pull it out, and every single one of them cut out perfectly. That one cut out fine, just got stuck on the way down. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove these from the dies. And then I've got a whole bunch of sentiments. Okay, so I've got my sentiments cut out. I'm going to turn over now my magnetic shim with the grid side up. And the measurements look to be in centimeters and inches. And it's not that I'm going to measure anything. I just want to show you. I am going to pull out this super intricate cover plate die. You can see I've tried to do something with it before, and it just absolutely refuses to cut. It's just nearly impossible to cut. Now, I do have a metal shim that I could use, but I'm not going to. I want to test this all on its own. And so I just want to make sure that I've got all the little bits of paper out of there so I don't muck up my die. And I keep finding more bits of paper. They're very hard to see. Let's get all those out. Come on out of there. Sometimes you just gotta flick. So I want to make sure it cuts, because otherwise if there's paper stuck in there, it might not cut in that spot, or it might only partially cut, and then, you know, you're stuck trying to rip it out of the back of the paper. I keep finding more. The little scrubby thing just doesn't really want to work with it because they're just so small. But we'll go ahead and scrub those out because I really want to put this guy to the test. Now, I'm not going to test embossing folders today. I did notice that one thing that majorly warped my Gemini plates was when I tried to do a 3D embossing plate through it. So I'm going to reserve embossing for my smaller machine or my hand crank machine. Just not saying that you can't, I just would prefer. I kind of don't want to wreck these because I kind of maybe want to use my Gemini. Maybe I kind of like it now. Maybe. Okay, let's just go ahead and get a large piece of paper. I don't want to fuss with trying to keep that straight on there. So I'm just going to do another large piece of 8 by 11 and a half piece of accent opaque 120-pound cardstock. I'm just going to lay this on, make my sandwich. You see, notice that I've rotated my plate, and I just like to keep the names together. That way I know who's who, which side I've been working on. And I'm going to go ahead and run that through my Gemini. And pulling it out, it's looking pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and just take the pieces out off camera because that's going to take forever. But because there's a lot of them and you got to poke them through, and I've already got paper everywhere. So I'm going to go make a mess. Try and scrub some of these out on their own. But you can see that it cut it perfectly. All right, so I've got that all cut out, ready to go. Isn't that beautiful? That's going to make an amazing stencil that I'm going to use on my jelly plate probably. And you can see that I've got little paper specks everywhere. See, I could have cut it on that metal shim, but it did just fine without it. So I just don't see the point. It just, I'm really, really, really surprised and pleased with this CraftFIRST set of cutting mats. Checking it, looking for warping, not seeing any major warping, no lasagnas. Let me get all this paper off of here. And of course you're going to see those little imprints on there. That's normal. And no warping there. And I'm real impressed with the magnetic mat. No warping at all. And the bottom plate, of course, full of paper. And it's cold in here. That's why that you see the fog on that thing. But it's perfectly straight and flat. The paper, they are kind of, they're kind of magnetic all on their own, a lot of static. So let's put our sandwich together and check and see if it's still a nice tight sandwich. And I'll put a link below to the Amazon place where you can get these large cutting plates. But here's our sandwich. Look at there, nice and tight, no warping. Looks good from the top. Looks good from this side, nice and straight. There's the bottom, nice and straight, and this side, nice and straight. Hey, guess what? I give this product a big thumbs up. Great product. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you'd like to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day.